Well, good evening, everybody. This is Sue, the Soggy Stamper. It's Friday evening, and it's my fabulous Facebook Live. If you hopped on when I first started, I apologize. You saw just a gray screen because I had forgot to change the camera on my phone. Tonight, I'm going to share with you several different things you can do with a couple of new embossing folders. The first embossing folder is this Layered Florals, and it is in the new mini catalog on page 65 called Layered Florals. It's a 3D embossing folder, and it shows a couple of samples here, and I'm going to show you some different things that you can do with it. And the other one is a free celebration one. It is part of a bundle for a $100 purchase. You can get this softly sophisticated stamp set, which we're going to use tonight, and this embossing folder. And this embossing folder has kind of a fishnet, maybe, kind of design like that. And this is a sample that I made using it. So this is a 3D one, and I have done several samples using it. I've already made up the cards. There's this one that I used a brayer on and showed, and it shows how it just hit the highlights. I also did this one. I inked the embossing folder and then ran it through with the brayer, and then ran it through, and it worked out pretty well. I tried to do that with the Layered Florals, and because of the extra depth of the florals, I didn't get a very good background around it. So that was kind of not such a great experience. Perhaps maybe I needed more ink on the embossing folder. Not quite sure what happened there. So there's this one that I inked after it was embossed, and this one I have used sponged on craft white ink to kind of make a nice subtle background to highlight the raised portions. And then this card, I used chalk on it. So I'm going to show you that briefly, finish it off with our soft pastels assortment. And I tell you, you have to be sure that you have it right side up when you open up the box. This one, I had it upside down yesterday, and this chalk fell out, and it's in pieces now, that's for sure. So I'm going to finish. There's a little bit of a, let me see if I can pull this label off. Yeah, be easier to do. So use a Q-tip if you want. Another thing that's helpful is to scrape a little bit of the chalk loose of the pastels. So you can use the spatula blade. See how I turned that around? You can use some of the spatula blade to scrape up some of the powder. And I did not do that for most of the ones on here, so they're rather pale. This is supposed to be red, but it looks pretty orangey to me. So you just use the Q-tip. I imagine that you could use the mini blending brush and pick up chalk with that. But see how it just brings out the relief, the raised portions of the thing. Then after that, you can take a soft cloth and kind of rub it in. And it makes a really nice soft thing. And this card is a book fold card, I'll show you how to make that a little bit later. So this was using chalk. You can use markers to color. I think that using the Stampin' Blends would be good for it. So that's the first one. Okay, so this one, oh, gotta put a greeting back on there. So then I embossed some Flirty Flamingo cardstock, and this is what it looks like embossed. You can see nice detail in the embossing, but I wanted to highlight the flowers, make them maybe a lighter pink against the background. So I got the craft Stampin' Pad, the white one, and this is where the mini blending brush really would come in handy. And you just gently rub over it until you get the height that the depth of color that you want. I started to do this with one of the sponges, one of the sponge daubers, and it works with that. My daubers were pretty old, and so the dauber was sponge part was starting to rub off on the cardstock. So I went with the blending brush. So that is another way that you can excuse me, use your embossed piece of cardstock and to highlight it. So this is the card, the finished card. And again, I stamped inside You're in My Thoughts. I use a lot of these getting ready for Lent, during Lent, rather than giving up stuff. Although I'm going to try maybe to give up chocolate, but I have chosen, last year I chose to send cards. Instead of giving up, I chose to do something. Okay, so now this is a new brayer. We haven't sold one in a long time. And you notice that it's got legs on it. See the legs? See? So that it does not touch. If you've got it inked up, it doesn't touch your thing here. So you have to turn it over like that to use it. I'm going to use the Flirty Flamingo. And I thought this was a very interesting effect. Oop. And you just lightly brayer across. Add a little more color if you want. But it only gets the highlights for it. So that's another way that you can use it with a brayer and ink. And I think that's a kind of a striking combination. It surprised me when I did it, but I thought, yeah, that's pretty good. And the finished card is like this. Opens up, You're in My Thoughts. And we're going to finish. And then one more sample. I used the solid side or the plain side of the Flight and Airy Designer Series paper, and ran that through the embossing folder. And that gave a little bit of color to the card, or to the embossed thing. And I'm going to use this to make the card. So we're going to score. This is 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to score it at 5 1/2. And then I'm going to score it again at 6 1/4, approximately. And at the 5 1/2, make a mountain fold. And at the 6 1/4, it's a valley fold, like that. And this is called book binding. It's not a new technique, but I thought it would be fun to share it with you. And I'm going to put some ribbon on this section here. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of Stampin' Seal along here to hold the ribbon. And this is the carryover from the fall catalog. This is silver and white ribbon, sheer ribbon. And I'm going to put a length of it on here, like that. And then I tried to just put some more seal on this side to close the card, but it didn't work, because this is so sheer that the glue doesn't stay. So instead I'm using tear and tape kind of along the edge of that fold. Cut off some of this, get that out of the way. Change out my spatula to the pokey part. Now the trick is to get the paper up, but not the adhesive. There we go. And then fold it over like that. And one of my tricks when I am tying bows is to take glue dot. In this case I'm going to take 2 because this is really sheer fabric, ribbon, and put it right where I want the knot to be. And then when I tie my knot, I press it into the glue dots and it holds it in place so that it stays tight. And I have my hands free to tie the knot. Like that. makes it so easy. Okay, so then we'll put this on. This is 4 by 4.5, and it will fit right in this section here. Would be pretty this way too. Would make it look like it's been quilted if you embossed it the other way. That would be pretty. Might have to try that. And then I have already stamped and cut out with the dies from the Thoughtful Expression dies. This is in the new mini catalog, and I love this set because I love the scalloped circles, and the dies here are really nice for greetings. And hummingbird that you can cut out and have some extra things as well. So it's a really nice set, a very nice bundle. And I like to use the margins of my Stampin' Dimensionals rather than throw them away. And I found that you can just tear them so you don't have to worry about pulling up scissors all the time. And put the greeting in. And I have some beautiful, if I can find them, these are from the mini catalog, Purple Fine Shimmer Gems. They're part of the lavender, lovely lavender suite of products, and I think we'll put some on here. Spur of the moment creativity. But we'll just kind of scatter them around. Lovely, lovely. The colors that come on here are Berry Burst, Gorgeous Grape, and Highland Heather. And you get quite a few. And I love the colors of them. Okay, then this is all ready except for the greeting. And we'll stamp it. It says, "You're in my thoughts." There you go. Dogs heard me pounding. Think that there's somebody at the door. So there you have it. Hello there. You're in my thoughts. I hope that this has given you some great ideas on how to use the Layered Florals embossing folder. And it comes standalone. It isn't part of a set. But this lovely one and the Softly Sophisticated are available for free when you spend $100. during celebration. So this is celebration time. My store is creationsbysue.stampinup.net, but if you go to my blog, soggystamper.com, in the upper right corner is a little button that says Shop with Me. And I would love to have you shop with me if you don't have a demonstrator already here and you live in the United States. If you need a catalog, email me, sue@soggystamper.com, and I'll be happy to send you one. This video will be up on my YouTube channel, The Soggy Stamper, this evening. And so I thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again next Friday night at 7 o'clock. Bye-bye.